Hi, sweepies. This is about finding the joy in everything. Is that possible? I know good things happen, bad things happen. We label them that way. Actually, everything is okay. Not necessarily good or bad. It has its reasons. But everyone, including myself, tends to want to focus on the good. I know when something bothers me and I label it as something bad happening, in order to get myself not to have a panic attack or go nuts, I focus on the good things around me rather than looking at the negative thing. Is that a good idea? I can tell you from my experience, it'll work for a while, but you still will have the panic attacks because you're repressing what's going on. In my case, anyway, that's what happened eventually. So, how do you deal with the things that you see as being negative or bad in your life? I've said sometimes to people that are having things going on that they're upset about, try to see the good side, like I just said. That's how I've worked with it. And their comment is, I can't. And so I've given them some little hints on how they can see the good in it. So, and in seeing the good in it, that is focusing on the good, so to speak. But that focusing on the good is a little different from what I was saying before. Let me give you an example. Something bad happens in my life. I consider bad. Husband loses his job. Let's use that one. Oh God, that was horrible. You got to pay the bills. The house needs repairs. All the things that you've put off and didn't do, suddenly you feel like it has to be done now. I just realized something in saying that. All along, I put off fixing the roof. I put off fixing this. I put off fixing the car. I put off fixing that. Because I was too busy having fun. I'd rather spend the money on something fun. And now that we don't have the money, everything's bad. And it needs to be done now. That shows us how we work. We choose to focus on these things. We choose to see things the way we do. So, how can we better learn from things that we label as bad and see the joy in, let's say, the bad? Where is the joy in the bad that my husband lost his job? Sorry, my hair's driving me crazy. The good in my hair driving me crazy is I still have hair. It's getting thin. And in him losing his job, he gets to be home. I know he's safe. He's not driving that Mack truck and in traffic, and I know where he is, and I'm with him, and I love being with him, and that's a lie too. Once again, if you make these recordings, and I suggest you try doing this, talking to yourself, you'll find little things that you say that are lies to yourself. I did not enjoy him being home. In the beginning I did. Oh wow, this is new, this is exciting, but I am stressed about what's going on, the money. So I'm not seeing things straight. But what really is going on is I'm having to adjust to him being home. I enjoyed it at the beginning. I was used to having him home only on the weekends, and now I have him here 24/7. And it didn't take long before I wanted to just run. Just plain run. I need 5 minutes by myself. And I tried to explain to him, I need time for me. I'm sorry. I've been alone all my life. Number one, I was an only child. I had to realize this. And this is looking for the good in it, and looking for the good in what has happened and having to deal with it and grow. I began to observe these things. I've been alone all my life as an only child. Both parents worked. I stayed by myself. I'd go to the lake, do things. The lake was back behind the house, and I could get a Coke there and relax. Talk to somebody if I wanted to, not if I didn't. Go back in the woods. I could do whatever I wanted. I was free. There's the key. I was free. No one to tell me what to do. I got married to my first husband. I had children. And we moved to California. And he started going out and doing whatever he wanted to do. And I had the second child. And then came the third child once we came back home. But nonetheless, I was alone all the time with the kids. He was always gone, to put it bluntly, screwing around with someone else, doing what he wanted to do. But I was too stupid to do what I wanted to do. And I didn't have a way. I didn't have a car. He had it. He had the money. He had the car. I'm stuck at home, having to go through dumpsters for food, beg, borrow, whatever I get. I was young. Once again, I say stupid. 18. My second husband was an honest, outright, I had to prove to myself, and I knew I had to go through this in order to see and let it go. He was my first love, very first, musician, drunk, druggy, everything you can imagine. Long hair. I don't even need to go any further because it's not right to sit here and put him down. He was a human being. He had his issues. Alcoholism runs in the family, his family and mine. And I had to prove to myself, you don't know this man. Go ahead, marry him. You don't know him. Go ahead, get it out of your system. And I did. And I gained a beautiful son who I love very much. So, with my first husband, I had 3 daughters. With my second one, I had a son. But once again, I was by myself all the time. The second husband was out in bars, drunk, doing whatever he wanted and coming back home on occasion. Third husband, I met him when I was going with a friend to do a, I don't know what you call it, but we were selling things. It was at Oglethorpe University. And it's a craft thing. And I met him there because she had invited him, because he stumbled up on her exhibit, drunk as a skunk, with his dad. Now, you'd think I wouldn't marry a drinker the second time. And the reality is, he's not a drinker. He just happened to get drunk with his dad. He does not drink. He's not an alcoholic. He enjoys a drink when he has it. And that's it. And it's very seldom. He's not one to spend the paycheck on it. He's not one to, I don't have to go into all this. He's not an alcoholic or a drunk. And right now there's none in the house, and we're not going to get any. And it's not just because we don't have the money. It's because whatever. Well, that might be wrong too. See why these videos help? We don't have the money. It's $18 for a bottle of whiskey. That's ridiculous when you don't have money. So we don't see things correctly until we do these videos, and then all these little, oh, wait a minute, comes up, and we begin to see how we lie to ourselves, how we flip information around in order to do what we want to do. But I have told my present husband, I've been alone all my life. And you were a truck driver for how long that we've been married? And you never hear us except on the weekends. And every other weekend it got to where you didn't come home. I don't know where you are, what you're doing. You said work made you do it. I don't know. So I'm used to being by myself. And now suddenly I have to do whatever you want to do. Stay out as long as you are, and I'm 6 years older than he is. I can't do anymore. I just can't do this. But to find the good in it, we both knit, we both craft, we like so many things that are alike. It's a shame we didn't find each other when we were younger. There are things we label as bad in our marriage. There are things we label as good. But when you investigate them with open eyes, with these videos and things, and just talking to yourself, or however you wish to do it, you begin to see things a little more clearly. There is joy in all of it. There was joy in my first husband. I was in California. It was beautiful. I loved it. I dearly loved being there. I hated to have to leave. I'd walk for blocks going to the grocery store by myself. And I liked being by myself, so that, as much as I say, oh man, it's not fair I was by myself, I enjoyed being by myself. I got food stamps, $350. I could buy everything for 2 people with that. He was never home. And then we have, of course, the second child. We moved back here. And then there was a third one. So, you learn to look at the good things. The good things for my daughters. My oldest daughter was murdered. I almost said it. And was that a good thing? Was it a bad thing? I had to look at that really close. She knew what was going on in her life, and she knew it was a possibility that that murder might happen. There was a danger, but in order to help someone else do what was best, she did what she did. And yes, she had to pay for it as far as the murderer was concerned. So I'm proud of her for doing the best she could, for trying to help someone else in their life. And I have to see that positive. I have to know that. I have to see all the good things, the good moments I had with her. I have to see the bad ones that I learned from. Now, a lot of times I'll tell people, if you learned something from a bad thing, if you've learned a great lesson from it, it's no longer a bad thing. And some people get very angry and say, I'm tired of having to learn things. I'm tired of lessons. Well, you're not going to grow. You're going to be miserable, because they're going to come. That's the whole thing that life is about. That is what it's about, is learning and growing and changing. It's about, what is the word I'm looking for? Evolving. That's it. It's about evolving. Everything is evolving and changing. And if you're not willing to have a little of what you call pain along with it, you're going to be miserable all the time, because you're constantly going to be having pain. And in fact, sometimes we get to where that's our MO. Oh, poor me. And then you realize, I like me. That's become my whiny pot, and I'm identifying with it. That's me, the poor, miserable me. So without investigating it, you just live that way the rest of your life, and you're miserable, and nobody's making you that way. You'll say they are, but you're allowing it to happen. In so many things, we are allowing it. We're using the color crayon black. We're living in the darkness. We're using the color crayon brown. We're living in the S-H-I-T in the world. And we're creating it ourselves. And we don't want to make the effort to learn about ourselves. We're getting more out of pointing out that Joe Blow is an idiot. And look at how he lives his life and how stupid he is. And you know, in other words, what you're saying is, I would never do that. If you can see a negative in someone else, the only way you can see anything, good, bad, evil, joyful, whatever, is if you've experienced it. That's how it works. The brain is programmed. And if you haven't had the program put in there and the label put on that program, this is bad, this is good, this is this is that, then you have nothing to judge it by, to go by. So if you can see somebody else as an idiot, then you know just what an idiot is by looking in the mirror. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can change and grow. We're all idiots at times. We're all very loving at times. We're all very selfish at times. We all steal from each other at times, whether it's physical things or each other's time. Whining about a problem, and you give advice and the other person goes, oh, and they just determine they're going to say in the problem. Well, you just stole my time, my efforts. It's all stealing, and we do it constantly. So, I'm inviting you to make your own videos. Be brave and show them. Somebody will learn from it. I'll guarantee you. We're all having the same experiences in one color or another. And we can all help each other if we get it all out in the open. Instead of hiding behind our disguise. I'm just so perfect. Baloney. There's no such thing. I'm sorry. Perfect is just a word we made up so we could have a conversation and relate to it when speaking to one another, just like every other word. It's like saying a curse word, and these people that just cringe, oh, don't say that word about me, oh no, this is a sin, whatever it is, the words they use. It's a word. It's made of letters, and we have given it the meaning. We did it. It doesn't mean a damn thing. It's just letters we've shoved together and said, these letters are going to mean something nasty and dirty. These letters are going to mean something fun and happy. They're just letters, just words. Where they have power is when you let them have power. And they have power when you give them the power. They don't just have it. They're just fucking letters. They can lay here, the F and the U and the C and the K and the ING, and they don't do anything. But you line them up and, oh, dirty word, you can't say that. Wow, somebody just had a cow. I said a dirty word. You just don't realize how much power you have. There's a test, and Once again, I don't remember. My husband says it's the double slot experiment, where they shoot particles, whatever, through the slot. And if you observe the particles when they go through, they shoot them through to a piece of paper on the back. And if you observe what those particles do, they'll do one thing. If they don't observe, they close it up in a box, shoot the particles through the slots, they do something totally different. In the last video I didn't say that right. But that's how it works. If I can find the video, I'm going to put it under that video and this one. The amazing thing is, if we would pull our heads out of our and realize science is a good thing and it teaches us a lot, we would realize that science is showing us right there how powerful we are. Just by observing something, it changes. Wow. Wow. Come out of the prehistoric age and do some studying and see what science is talking about and teaching. Quit being programmed by belief systems and step out there and stop making excuses based on what others say is real or true, and see the proof of what is and what isn't, and grow. If we don't, this whole system is just going to fall apart, and that's the problem now. We are refusing to grow. We're staying in a primitive state of dancing around a fire, making up God as what it is in our head, and programming our children as what it is, so they come up thinking everything we put in their head. We're no different than androids. I say this all the time. Like, you have an android, you program it to do what it does. We're the same way. Our parents program us. I was in a shopping center last week, and I had complimented this mother on what a beautiful child she had. She's so good, so sweet. And the mother said, well, let her tell you what she's learned. And she starts quoting her programming. I was so horrified. I couldn't let the child know. Poor baby, you've just been programmed to what this woman believes, and it must be done, and it has to be done, or they'll burn in hell. And now here goes again. We're still dancing around the fire, not realizing who we are and what we are. All reflections of all that is. We're just different reflections of the same beautiful everything, dancing around the fire and enjoying life. There's just nothing that we can do. Every word that has come out of my mouth, now think about this, that isn't trying to program you. I'm trying to convince you to get out of the box, grow up, and evolve. I'm trying to program you. That's programming. I just showed it to you. I'm programming you. Just like the mother, the little girl. That's how we work. And if we don't realize that, and realize we're being programmed constantly, and start asking questions for ourselves, this world is just going to do exactly what it's going to do, and we're going to say it's not our fault, and nothing's going to change, and we're not going to grow. There are so many things you can do to grow. Here's one that will really knock your socks off. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Just Google him look at him on YouTube. Oh my gosh. Listen to what he thinks about his children and how he works with things in life. And grow. Learn from him. You don't want to go to somebody present moment? Go to Einstein. My grandfather knew Einstein. He'd come to his house. He was German also. And he'd come to my grandfather's house in New York whenever he came here. And they would go up in my grandfather's attic and play with the train set. Everybody needs to play. Everybody needs to learn. Everybody needs to grow. Everybody needs to love. Everybody needs to know. Here I'm going to program you again. That we're all reflections of that. Everything. Neil deGrasse Tyson will tell you that they have done tests on humans, and of course they've found what nationalities they've come from, but they've also found inside of us birds. I believe he said it was a sparrow type bird DNA. Lizards. We're very closely related to pigs, believe it or not, and apes, and this is the coolest part. There's stardust in us. We're made of stardust. Of course we are. The whole place is made from the universe exploding and making all this. But if you get stuck and you're not allowed to listen to science and grow because of your programming, don't grow. So, and I digress. I'm going off in a different direction here. That's what I love about the videos. You just let them go where they go. And then go back and watch them. The last one I made, I went back to watch it afterwards, and I saw the things I screwed up backwards and forwards and didn't say right. And I was going to, write on the bottom this, that, and another. And I thought, no. It just shows I'm getting old, because it's about getting old and how you screw up things. And I'm sure even when you're young and you're making a video, you screw up things. But anyway, the whole point to this video in the beginning was to find the joy in everything. If something bad that you label bad happens, find the joy in it. The joy in it can be what you learn from it, what you experienced. Maybe you met a new person because of it. Maybe you became a new person because of it. Everything can help you to grow and change into a better person if you let it. Everything can make you digress and become a worse person if you allow it to. It's all your choice. You're the observer. What do you see? Do you see good? Do you see evil? What do you want? Do you want to see the truth, or what you've been programmed to see? Do you want to see reality? Is there a reality? What is? Question things. It can't hurt. Until next time, grow.